All right, good people. This is our weekly racism roundup for the week of October the 8th, 2018. So the first article I got right here is a Norfolk police under investigation after being caught on video pepper spraying a teen suspect skipping school. Pretty much they pretty much stopped this young boy when he was coming from school, and they said he might be truant, but a bystander, a guy who was going to the gym, he saw what was going on, so he turned his camera on and so these cops right here, this guy right here, he was going to the gym, so he's trying to find out what's going on here. And they pepper sprayed this young boy. They pepper sprayed him in his face, and he's cursing because he's pepper sprayed. Look, he's holding up a pencil. That cop right there, what he was doing right there, he was holding up a pencil. And he said, this man right here, he said that the cop said that, you see, with the pencil he could have poked me in the eye. So they were searching him for weaponry, but he ain't had nothing. All he had was a pencil because he had come from school. But like I said, supposedly they initially stopped him because supposedly they thought that he was skipping school. So, you know, he was supposedly skipping school, but he was supposedly skipping school. Here we go. He was supposedly skipping school, and it was at 4 o'clock, so he couldn't have been skipping school because he had just came from school. So he couldn't have been skipping. So, you know, they harassed this young boy, sprayed him with pepper spray for absolutely no reason. And this guy right here was going to the gym, and so he saw the whole thing. And so, racism. Niecy Nash claims she was disinvited to some party at a Will Rogers Polo Club in Los Angeles. Racism. Here we got another story right here. Here's our next story right here. When football rivalries go beyond sportsmanship, essentially in late September, they burned the effigy of a black quarterback. Some young high schoolers burned effigy. They burned the effigy of a player from an opposing team in a school bonfire, and so these white students were burning this effigy of a young black quarterback for the opposing school's team. And it says videos at the school show actual pictures of the opposing player, which had been placed in urinals. It could be the administrators knew nothing of the prank, but a little teaching of respect and sportsmanship might be in order. But see, the problem is racism. The problem is they're holding racism, so they're not going sportsmanship. Next article. African American rabbi tackles racism in the Jewish community. So pretty much this rabbi, this young rabbi, he's saying that he wrote this novel, and the novel is based on his experiences as a young black a Jewish rabbi, or a young black Jew. And essentially in one recollection, he talks about an episode where a blackface costume was worn on Purim, and so he had to confront the Jewish leader about wearing blackface, and no one really even cared about that. And he says right here, there's a real dichotomy that happens where you can have black people who are Jewish authors, but they are never considered part of Jewish American literature. James McBride is considered an African American author, not a Jewish author. David Diggs, when he talks about his experience, people say, oh, this is an African American experience. So once again, even if you black and you Jewish, you still black. You don't matter. You black. That's what you are, because racism and white supremacy has to take precedence over any of this stuff. Kanye West. Now, Kanye West, everybody talking about Kanye, but the one thing I wanted to point out here with the Kanye West is that it was lunchtime, and the question right at the end where they asked Trump about his meeting with Kanye West. What does his meeting mean? And he said that for us, it's just lunch. Donald Trump was asked verbatim. Donald Trump was asked, this man right here was asked, Donald Trump, what is this meeting with Kanye West? What do you think is going to come out of this? And he said, what was the purpose of this meeting, Donald Trump? And he said, this meeting is just lunch. He said, this meeting right here is just lunch. Photo op, luncheon. Talking about how Alec Baldwin was saying that black people now love him since he played at Trump. And so essentially black people are like collector's items to this man. So he said, everywhere I go, black people go crazy. Everywhere I go, black people go crazy. The word crazy. Black people are crazy. It's like they call Kanye West crazy, and this is the type of thing. It's just not about Kanye West. They tend to label black people crazy, just like Alec Baldwin's doing here, and so he said that he thinks that it's because black people are afraid of Trump, and I'm not going to paint every African American person with the same brush, but a significant number of them are sitting there going, this is going to be bad for black folks. This is just very interesting. And so people were Twitter was attacking him, saying he's collecting black fans like these souvenirs. And for the last one, we gonna go to this right here. And this one right here is culture of racism sparks Edwin North student transfers. And so at this high school in Oklahoma, there are some high school students that are transferring, and the reason why they transferring is because of racism, white supremacy. They said there's a bunch of black people that don't feel like they belong, and I'm one of those. This is what the young man says in the video right here. He says in the video, and I'm playing it now, it'll come up right now, but he says that a lot of the people in the school feel like him because it's very natural for white people to just use the N-word. This is in high school, so it's not just the old white generation just talking about, oh, these old white rednecks, they're the ones that need to, they're the racists you know, they're the real racists. Nah, this goes beyond, and I'm gonna show some evidence and I'm gonna show some proof that this goes beyond just someone teaching racism and the families that these people come from.
If you're at a different school, you know Edmond North is like this. Like, you know.
An alleged culture of racism amongst members of the student body.
That's just how people are.
That's just how people are.
For white people to say the N-word.
Senior Maurice Franklin says he doesn't want to make a big deal out of it, but it is a big deal.
And it makes me angry. Because there's a bunch of black people here that feel like they don't belong, and I'm one of those people.
Rhonda Robinson says her 3 grandchildren experienced it firsthand.
They hear about it a lot, so much during the school time that it's become, you know, second place for them.
It's become second place. Racism has become second place for them.
Most recently, one of her kids coming home with a recording of another student telling a racist joke.
What do you call two dead?
But it finally came to a head last week when her grandson discovered a photo circulating on social media, his face cropped on another student's chest, a racial slur pointing at his face.
And I went from 0 to 300 real quick. I was livid.
Representatives of the school district declined to go on camera, but released a statement saying in part that they've launched an investigation and that the student who shared the derogatory and regrettable post was found within minutes and immediately disciplined in accordance with the district's policy. Robinson's kids were granted permission to transfer elsewhere, but she still wants her voice heard, hoping the school will address the problem with the entire student body.
They feel helpless. They feel like their hands are tied. Now, I just got to tough this out. No kid should have to tough it out.
And so see those people right there, those kids, they're being tormented by racism and white supremacy. They're being tormented by the white children, the white kids that are at their high school. This is not something that's going away, people. You need to understand that. You understand that it goes beyond just teaching racism and educating people. There's something psychological and genetic at a genetic level that's deep being dealt with here, and so we are gonna have to really kind of go through some stuff. But that ends just this week's racism roundup, and this week in racism, and stay tuned next week for another round of racism roundup. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Black Cloud Speaks. Alright, let me add this in real quick about Kanye. Kanye West is a confused victim that is being handled. His mental illness is being exploited by the system of white supremacy, the machine of white supremacy, and Trump and his white wife and the white Kardashian family and his record label, everybody around him. He's being manipulated by these people. He's being handled. He's obviously mentally impaired, and he obviously his ideas and thoughts are not even congruent. So this man is not stable by any means. It's a sad state that he's in, and he thinks he's doing something, and all Trump is doing is trying to get a publicity stunt to make him look good, and to make him look like he's not a racist, and buying Kanye some lunch in the White House. So and his wife is the same thing. She's just using him as publicity, and the same thing with the record companies. The same thing. This man is being used by the system of racism and white supremacy, by the machine. And like I said, next week I'll have some more news for you.